Good afternoon, everybody. We have gathered here today to do the Know Your Courses session for upcoming August semester. I hope all of you are having a great summer. The aim of this session is to help you with choosing electives and telling you what the compulsory courses were about for us, our batch, as in your senior batches. With that, I will just fill you in about how we are going to go about the session. We will first cover all the compulsory courses in alphabetical order of the discipline, and then we will go to the electives in alphabetical order of the discipline. If you have any queries, then raise hand in the Google Meet raising hand option. Uh,
I will talk about EcoIO, which is Sudhir's course. So I'm going to give a description of the course, and I'll give some things to note, and I'll give my opinion on it. The description and opinion are like different things, but so it is a pretty fundamental course if you are going into any field of bio. It doesn't matter even if you don't end up taking like eco fields. Even for non-bio people, I'd say it's an interesting course to say the least, because there are a lot of places where the course encourages like quantitative thinking and like mathematical intuition. Um, Pre-midsem, he goes into a bunch of very basic concepts in ecology, competition, niches, predation, and he might do like a case study about like conservation bio, and so he'll go a bit into like the mathematical modeling of some of things like competition, predation, um, like nothing too intense. Post midsem, it is the evolution part of the course where again he goes in the chronological order of how theories came about in evolution, like all the way from the Greeks to like current theories on evolution. He will spend a fair bit of time on like a certain case study that was sort of like groundbreaking work in evolution, and some time on like population genetics, again like some basic math, just like algebra and like maybe differential equations. Um, um, the exams are pretty straightforward. Like you don't have to think too much for the exams. Some are like I say like 80% of the paper is just straightforward stuff. 20% maybe he gets a bit creative. There is an assignment for 20% of your grade, and again just be like you write some basic code to simulate mathematical models. Very easy 20 marks. So yeah, that was the description. Some things to note about the course. Um, so um, so Sudhir will he did this for us and every batch before us. He sets up this platform called Zulip, which is a lot like Discord. You can ask him anything on there. You can have discussions on that platform. Use it, and because he is someone who will entertain like any doubt on that, no matter how trivial it is, and even things that are not really related to what he taught in class, but like anything like tangential to the class, I think Sudhir is someone who will be more than happy to talk to you about it, and that platform is a pretty great place to do it. My batch didn't use it very well after the first week at least, and he was pretty disappointed about that. Another thing to note, yeah, he does not allow you to bring any electronic devices to take notes in class. So you'll have to write on like a pen and paper if you want to take notes. He also he is a bit strict about punctuality. Like he shuts the door after 5 minutes into class. If your class starts at 3, by 3:05, you have to be in the classroom, or else you're just not entering. Um, what else? Yeah. So he gives two kinds of readings from after every class. One is compulsory readings and optional readings. The compulsory readings are directly pertain to whatever he just taught. They are in most cases they'll just be like a expansion of the things that he did in class. Um, but whatever he puts in the compulsory readings bin, he can ask from the exam. for the exam, even if he didn't teach the thing in class. So do not take those readings lightly. The optional readings are deep dives into some of the topics I taught in class. They could be like research papers, book chapters, review articles. Those will not come for the exam, but they are very cool articles in my opinion. If you want to go into the topic a bit more, um, yeah, that's pretty much it about the thing you should know going into the course. Um, And my opinion, so the course is a pretty great course. So Tirth is a very nice prof. Um, he can get a bit dramatic at times because he has like a very old school idea of discipline, like the thing about like being punctual to class and stuff. But apart from that, it's a pretty great course. Like Sutirth is in touch with a lot of things that are not uh, one in his exact field of study and or like a part of the course contents. And you like and he'll be like more than happy to talk to you about those things. Like another thing, he doesn't tell you this in the first lecture, but if a large part of the class wants to cover some extra topic that is not in this course content that you see on the screen here, he will try and do it. um, so parts of the syllabus that were there for us are not there for you. The part about the theory of aging. So if people want to do that and a lot of you want to do it, like he and you can just approach him, he will do it for you. I will hand it over to Vishwabharati and Anshita, and they'll talk to you about slightly about the practicals that he may do for you.
So what Saket does is he's like a very enthusiastic professor who's actually like, I mean, it's true for a lot of people, but especially for him, like he's very passionate about teaching his subject, right? So what he does is every year, if a bunch of students, if a lot of students are interested, he takes these students and gives them informal, ungraded, like practical courses, not courses, like practical lab work sort of stuff, where he gives you small weekly projects and stuff, so that you can learn more about the subject. But he doesn't like talk about this much. You have to approach him and tell him that you're actually interested in doing something like this, and then yeah, he'll do this for your batch. In our batch, he said that our batch was not particularly interactive much because we did not talk much on Zulip and after classes and stuff. So he didn't really mention the practical course at all. But then in the fourth semester, he sent us an email asking whoever was interested to sign up for that course, stuff like that. So if you are interested, do approach him early and ask him if he is doing some sort of practical course and stuff. There's one more thing I wanted to add, which is that Sutir in particular, like, is a very receptive prof. So he's very enthusiastic to talk to you in general. So after every class, try approaching him and discuss with him anything that you found interesting in the class. And yeah, that's it.
Also, I'd like to add that the practicals thing, it would also include a video documentary, so keep that in mind before you approach him. It would include, say, 3 to 5 practical sessions, which would be held over the weekend, and you'll have to submit a report in about 2 weeks. And again, they mentioned with the class timings, he expects you to be punctual about that. And if you're participating, you have to put in the effort. So be careful about that. But if you do participate, you will have fun. Like they mentioned, Sutit is a very receptive professor. He will uh, allow interaction and, again, he's very enthusiastic about his subject. So you will have fun with him. So do approach him about the practicals.
So, I all I want to add is I have a slightly different opinion of Sutit. While his classes are fine, I personally did not. So initially they were very enjoyable. I personally felt that in the second half of the semester, the classes, at least to me, were not very interesting. But then that's just for me. Um, All I can say is his course is very fundamental, and all the concepts that you learn there, you will use it in any branch of biology you choose to go forward. And even if you don't take up biology, you'll learn pretty cool applications of certain mathematical concepts and stuff. So, in general, it's a very good course. Like, it's not a light course. I will never say it's a light course. You will need to study very methodically the readings he gives because he can ask quite literally anything. You can't so I'm not exaggerating when I say you cannot skip a line from the compulsory readings because he can ask a question from anywhere from those. But yeah, the classes might seem slightly boring or like I personally did not enjoy his teaching, but the content is really nice and he's extremely approachable and fun to talk to.
Are we taking questions right now or later?
Yeah, yeah. We will take questions. If you have any questions, just ask and raise hands.
You can even type it down. We don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, so like I said, Zulip is like it is almost a replica of Discord. People have asked him why he doesn't use Discord. I don't know what the reason is, but it is basically Discord. It is a platform where you can discuss with him about anything, both in class or anything tangent to the course contents, and you can even discuss amongst yourselves. He'll set this up in like the first week, and he'll make you introduce yourself, and then he'll put a lot of the readings there, and then maybe he will initiate discussions on those readings, or he will ask you like your opinions on the readings or anything you found interesting. But yeah, use it to like initiate discussions about things that you found on your own. With Prafia, with Suthit, like he'll answer your doubts at any point, even like if it's like 1:30 at night.
But also, like, I would like to add that Juliet is also a place where your friends are like, even they can answer your questions. So it's more of
Yeah,
a discussion.
yeah, there will be things like what Nachiketa just mentioned. Like I said, Suthit can get creative. We probably won't give you the context behind what that question is, but you should find out on your own.
Are there any more questions? If there are none, we will move on to the next course for a couple of minutes and then. So we will move on to the next course. It's Principle of Inorganic Chemistry. Our speakers are Arjok and Shomojati. I'll hand it over to them.
Right, right. So hello, I'm Samajati. Um, Arjab won't be there. He has some issues. He has just told me everything he has to say for this. So I'll just convey it to you. Okay, so the pre-midsem part will be taken by Bhumi, and post-midsem you'll have Nirmallo taking the course. Um, Again, I'll try to be as objective as possible, but some of these are also my opinions, and this may vary from person to person. Um, Bhumi's classes are, I feel, fairly well structured. He'll teach you from slides and he'll send you the slides later on. And pretty much, if you read the slides and maybe refer to some of the books which he'll mention in class for some portions, not for all the slides, but for me, I specifically remember referring to the book he had mentioned for boranes, silanes, and all of those things. Um, so yeah, a little bit of reference from the book, but mostly from the slides, and that's enough. Other than that, his classes are slightly monotonous, but you'll be learning a lot of stuff about molecular orbital theory, which, well, what Arjab told me to convey is it's whatever he'll teach is very fundamental, and this will be sort of your um, chance to understand MOT properly because while he won't teach everything in class, he'll teach some of it, and you can always actually go and approach him later if you have additional doubts or you want to know more and stuff. His questions were fairly all right. Just make sure you are very thorough with the content, at least in the slides, and then you'll be good. For Nirmala's part, it would be great if you could attend classes because he does not provide slides. He teaches very erratically in class. He will write down everything that he wants on the board. Um, and he will also write, frankly, very unrelated stuff at the same time on the board. So his classes are slightly difficult to follow through, but he's a much better teacher, at least in my opinion, than Bhumi. And he's able to get concepts across more clearly. What will help you for Nirmalo's part is keep studying Atkins from the very start. He will mention which chapters and what page numbers, but just use Atkins as your reference material. Go back, look up the specific portions he has taught from Atkins and study Atkins. You'll be good. One advice would be in for this course in general, you will need to mug up. You will need to mug up reactions. You will need to mug up there are reactions that you'll need to mug up. You'll need to mug up some of the MOs because, well, you can learn how to come up with those MOs on your own. That would be great. But if you don't want to invest so much time into that, you can just mug it up. Either or, you'll have to spend some time on those components of the course and refer to Atkins. Atkins is your sort of gateway to get through the course, at least for um, Nirmala's part. Yeah, mostly that. I cannot comment on how helpful Nirmallo is if you ask him doubts because I did not, but Bhumi was fairly responsive. I remember asking him doubts twice, and he was like, I was pretty satisfied with his response. Yeah, I think I did not mention about the grading. So you will have midsem and sem and two quizzes. I think we have two quizzes.
We will take questions now. If you have any questions, write it in the chat box or just ask us. If there are no questions, we will start with introduction to climate sciences. Our speakers are Raj, Sharanno, and Shomajati. I will hand it over to them.
So I'll start and just hand it off to Raj and Shomajyoti. This is a fairly easy course in the sense most of the stuff is self-contained. You don't have to look at reference books or anything. Nina will send you everything. You just need to go through the slides. In terms of the contents, you will learn energy balance in the pre-midsem. Most of it is just balance and equations. That will be your pre-midsem, and post-midsem you'll learn more about the ocean climate. It's a fairly easy course. It does not take much effort. You can just study it 1 or 2 days before the exam. Yeah, I'll hand it off to Raj and Shomajyoti now.
Pretty much what the name says, and it's an introduction to climate sciences. Nina is a very boring teacher. She somehow manages to make climate sciences feel boring, which it is not. Don't let this course discourage you from taking up climate sciences later. Yeah, it's a easy course. You can pretty much get by just googling every single word you find on the course contents document. Don't really have to study a lot for this. And yeah, her exams and quizzes are super boring. They'll feel like some geography board exam. Yeah, pretty much that's it. But don't get discouraged by this course if you want to pursue climate sciences. Over to Soumya Jyoti.
Yeah, so all I have to say is very easy course. You can just study a day before the exam and you'll be fine for this. I personally thought this was the easiest course to score in the third semester. Just make sure you're reading everything. Do not miss any of the slides, anything from the slides that Nina sends. Make sure you understand what each diagram, what each graph in the slide means. If you do not understand, ChatGPT it, DeepSeek it, Google it, whatever, but make sure you understand all the graphs and diagrams. That is the main thing in the course which you can have problem with, and if you Google it up, you will have no problem. And the tests are very simple. Everything will be based on whatever she has taught. Sometimes the checking can be a bit iffy, but then the most of the TAs are reasonable. Some of them are not, but then you'll just have to manage with that. The course is easy. That's all. Yeah, that's all.
Oh yeah, the TAs are very nice. Attend tutorials if you can, and if you don't like your TA, just go to some other TA. Oh, and I'm sending a link in the chat. It's a document with all the course reviews for ECS. You might want to take a look at it later. Yeah, that's all. Any questions?
If we do not have any questions, we will go to the next course, that is Introduction to HSS. And our speakers are Shorono, Anshita, Shomajyoti, and Vishwavarati. I will hand it over to them.
Maybe I can start because I have very little to say, but um, and then maybe the others can give you more insight into the course. I did not attend most of the classes for SSS, but I got by pretty well because for most of the content, whatever they send, the slides are sort of enough, and the whatever's there in the slides is I felt pretty much enough, or whatever material that they send, just go through it. Pushkar's part, you'll need to take notes or find a friend who takes.
If there is a connectivity issue right now, I think somebody else can continue, and Shomajyoti, you can come back after the issue is fixed. Do any of you want to continue with that?
Okay, I'll take over. So as he was saying, for Pushkar's part, you will need to take notes because he will not send slides, or you'll at least need some friend who will take notes. Uh, for Pooja's part, that is the part I enjoyed the most. It's mostly analyzing the text. She will send you some pieces of literature in advance and asking you to study them, and then you'll have nice discussion sessions in the class. Uh, then you have Anil's cinema part. It's just two classes, and he does not teach a lot in those two classes. He mostly talks about his other courses that he takes. Uh, he'll again just send you a document with all the stuff you'll need to know about the how to analyze the cinema. Yeah, basically, as Govind said, he'll just ask one question, I think, which is like pretty much the same question he has been asking like for the last 3 or 4 years. It's the context of cinema in telling a story or something. He just rephrases it every time. Uh, and yes, for Venki's part, it was purely memory based. You just need to remember the stuff that he gives in the slides. There's no other way to go about it. I think the others can talk about the other modules of this course.
So I'll speak briefly about the modules as they're listed in the course contents page. So the course does what the title says, it introduces you to themes, ideas, and some methods relevant to the various disciplines of HSS. In the political science module, Redker would go through what politics is and why you should study it, why it is a science, and the historical and modern approaches to study it as a science. She will also go over some political ideologies which are the belief systems in politics. As an instructor, she may not be exceptionally interesting to everyone, but she does an alright job at introducing the discipline. So, I mean, you can get by not attending her lectures, but they're still somewhat useful. So, read the slides, and make notes. It won't be difficult. Uh, Then economics would basically introduce you to certain principles like the theory of market, invisible hand, productive efficiency, opportunity cost, marginal cost, those sorts of things. You'll have factors of production, measures of economy in terms of GDP, etc. He will send slides and he will send a lot of readings. You don't have to go through all of them, but just skim through a few of them and just go through previous year questions. That will be very useful. Then sociology, Shalini Sharma will, well, what she discusses in class and how much she discusses during the lectures would depend on how responsive the class is. So she'll probably talk about sociological identities, sociological imagination, how one forms a social perspective of the world and why it might be important, historical development of sociology as a discipline, and some important sociologists. She will tell stories, she will sing songs, she will digress a lot. Some people, she will ask some people questions, which some of which may be a little personal. So, and if you choose to attend her lectures, be aware of what is happening. She can pick you at any time and just, put you on the spot. She will send slides, which would be more or less sufficient. So, attending is up to you. But yeah, her classes are something. So, you may want to experience that. I don't know. Then history and historiography. So he does a great job of introducing the subject. He will go over subdisciplines of history, how we study history, how we get sources, source criticism. He will go over archaeological theories, what archaeologists do, and how we understand historical artifacts in their context. He will not send slides as has been mentioned, so do take notes and he will have a review lecture at the end. So attend that, pay attention and take notes. That will be very helpful for the exam. Then history of Indian mathematics and astronomy would be taken by Pi. He would introduce you to how we understand ancient Indian texts in mathematics and astronomy. He will go over some systems of representation of numbers in these texts. He will go over evolution of pi and vakyas, which are phrases that we do astronomy through. That again, like it has been mentioned in the chat, that it is also an ad for his other advanced courses, but it will be heavily memory based and the lectures will be fun, so do attend those. Then literature and literary theory. Since Shreti is a very nice instructor, so her lectures will be structured and you will have fun attending. So she'll go over genres of literature, ethics of reading, network of interpretation. She will discuss a few short stories and poems, how you critically analyze literary texts. So her classes again would be fun, and you should read what she tells you to read before class. That would make things interesting, and you will actually understand stuff. So, and yeah, she will send slides, but do take notes on the literary analysis that we discuss in the class for the short stories and the poems. That will be very useful for the exams. And as has been mentioned, cinema's narrative is basically an advertisement for his other two advanced courses. So I don't know, just go through what he sends you, I guess. Also, go through the PYQs for this course. For us, they just repeated the midsem paper even though they said they wouldn't. So that should be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they summarized all of it. All I wanted to add was this is a very memory intensive course. So if you're someone who does not do well with memorizing stuff, it is good if you start a week or two in before the midsem or endsem to start actually mugging up some of this because you will have to remember some of the content that is well is part of all of these modules. If you again now if you I would suggest that even if you don't want to attend all the classes, go to some classes that Pooja does because Pooja does a fantastic job at giving some insight into how actually literary theory works and what essentially people who study literature do in terms of analyzing texts and stuff. Pushkar's classes are very fun. He's very entertaining. He is also extremely good if you go to ask him doubts. If you just want to attend one lecture in this whole HSS module, that would be Pushkar's review class because whatever he talks about in the review class is pretty much what he'll ask in the exams. Um, if you do not know how to read the Devanagari script, Venki's classes might be slightly problematic, but then he'll make sure he accommodates everyone.
Just say one thing about Venkateshwara Pai's class. He has a very, like, I'll just say, he teaches very well. It's just that sometimes I don't know how do I put this. He has a very one thing. He has a very sharp memory. So if you attend one class, just make sure to attend the other class as well. And if you did not attend the first class, he will know that you are not there and whatever. But more importantly, like I'll say this: sometimes, like it's important to know some of the yeah. Some people say it's a memory-based thing. I'll say this: if you are familiar with some amount of mythology,
Hindu mythology, you might find it like you might be able to understand some of the background, but otherwise, yeah, otherwise you will have to like understand why it means something or whatever.
Yeah, there was a question. Only Pushkar doesn't provide slides. Everyone else more or less does provide slides. And yeah, the economics module is actually, as Vishwabharati pointed out, Vijay's part is very interesting. Uh, Content wise, also, his part is extremely nice, and it's just fun to read through, even if you don't attend the classes. The material that he will provide is also fairly interesting to go through.
I think we will take questions now, if there are any. If there are no questions, we will start with the next course. It is Introduction to Probability. Our speakers are Nachiketa and Shoranam. I will hand it over to them.
Okay, I'll go first. So this is a very basic probability course. It will teach you about probability from the grounds up. You'll start with combinatorics and then slowly build from discrete probability to continuous probability. Uh, Mohammed is someone who follows the book very religiously, the Sheldon Ross book. If you read it properly, you're basically covered. She also sends her own notes uh, regularly, which is also very useful. Uh, we had Karenika for the second part of the course. You guys have Mainak, so I don't know how uh, he will take this course. But the second part is basically continuous probability. I see some topics which we did not cover, like random walks, Markov chains, and chi-square and t-distributions. We ended with the law of large numbers. Uh, in this course usually has weekly quizzes, so it helps to keep you updated with the syllabus. And the exams and midterms are not too difficult. At least it wasn't for our batch. Our seniors had quite a difficult midsem. But then for our batch, Mohammed did not take that difficult of a midsem. It was very easy. She also gives some bonus points in the sense, suppose she takes a paper out of 37, but your full marks will be 37, but then she'll take only marks out of 30 or something. So you have some leeway into the marking. Uh, yeah, that's all I had to say. Over to Nachiketa.
I'll just pitch in about the evaluation. So this has been a weird, like up and down thing with Momanty. So like she first took, I think the discrete structures course for, I think the current fifth years batch, or I think their seniors, and then she took intro to probability for our seniors, and then she took intro to probability for us. And what happened was her first, like the first discrete structures course, whatever she gave a very she gave what I've heard is she gave a very easy paper, and then when it came for like, and then she realized, okay, wait, no, I should give a harder paper, and she ended up giving a paper with, I think it was a median of 11 to our seniors. What I'll say this is, don't rely too much about the fact that paper will be easy. I think she has somewhat found her groove that like if she sets a paper of some difficulty, it will be good enough. But I'll not rely too much on that. Uh, the weekly quizzes are helpful. I'll say I think they were bi-weekly, not weekly, or were they weekly? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Uh, Also, I'll say this. When Manak taught us linear algebra, it was insanely boring. I'm like, I'll say he might also be equally boring here. This is not what he does. This is like, I'm not sure how that will go. Mm, like, I'm not sure if he's a like he can teach introductory courses that well. That's it from my side.
We will now take questions.
Not a question, not a review either, but I just want to add that this was a mistake I made. I thought that this course would like be particularly important, but things like Markov chains and random walks, and if they ever cover like Poisson processes, please like pay attention to those. When it was taught to us, it was like underestimated how important those would be, and I am working with some of those things now, and I realize that if I paid attention, things would be a lot easier for me. So when they get to like the more applied part of probability, I think like it might pay to pay attention.
I'll just say this: the beginning of the course is almost literally what you learn in 11th and 12th probability or
Yeah, it is
combinatorics.
like your balls and earns type probability.
Yeah, so like I even up to like Bayes theorem, that random variable, that kind of thing. It's going to be literally whatever you learned with some like basic small changes. Like you might have like even cumulative distribution and stuff. That is like basically you're adding a summation to the thing or something. It will be mostly very basic, but then after a while it will get like weirdly advanced weirdly quite quickly.
Yeah, I think, but I'm in no position to review this course, but the learning curve is pretty steep once you cover the, at least for me, if you're from a mostly biology background, post Bayes theorem and CDF and PMFs and all of those things, the learning curve does get very steep very quickly. So you might want to pay attention and be up to date with the content when that happens. Otherwise, you will have problems when you're revising for your NSEMs or midsems.
We'll start with the next course. It's Introductory Quantum Physics. Our speakers are Harini, Bhagavat, and Sharanya. I will hand it over to them.
This course our batch is quite infamous for, but it is honestly a wonderful course. One of my favorites in IISER so far. It's obviously really important if you're a physics major, and even if you're not, it's just something you should know as a science student. Many of the questions that are left unanswered in the chemistry quantum course get answered, which is really nice. As for the structure of the course, pre-midsem, it's mostly fundamentals and like Fourier transforms and specific math techniques that you should know going forward in the course. And post midsem, it's specific quantum systems like particle in a box, potential barrier, potential well, tunneling, and stuff. Uh, as for the faculty, you probably know more about Deeptimoid than I do. And Arka, he did a really good job with the course. If you please try to attend the classes, because I personally got a lot more insight from the classes, both Mukhi and Arko, than from any of the books. And then some personal advice for this course is that try to really internalize the concepts that you're taught. This is not some course that you can just know at the surface and manage with that. And it takes some time to build intuition for quantum mechanics. So just starting early is good. So try to internalize the concepts and solve the integrals. There's going to be a lot of integrals, and don't be like, okay, this question I've gotten to the integral. Now let's just go. It's just solving the integral. Let's go to the next thing. Don't do that, because there are some specific mathematical manipulations that you need to do while solving the integral, which you can do only with practice. Um, as for the exams, I didn't personally find it too difficult. I just found it really long, which is another reason why you should have practice solving the questions. And yeah, so if you know the concepts really well and you have practice with the integrals and stuff, you should be fine.
I will just like to add one more thing. What Harini told about developing the intuition part, that is really, really important, because in some questions you don't really need to solve to get some answer. If you just apply your intuition, you'll get it directly, which would save you a lot of time. Which some of the questions in Orko's part were like that. You did not really need to solve any integrals. Uh, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Like to iterate the point I just made for the probability course. But even if you don't care about physics or quantum physics, a lot of the mathematical methods that you will use throughout the course will be very helpful Even if you go to other fields, things like Fourier transforms and step operators are things that I'm doing right now, and like I'm in a bio department. So don't let your disinterest in like quantum physics keep you from like putting effort into this.
I would just like to give some practical advice regarding this course, especially if you are like me and you're not from a very physics math background, and if you have difficulty like me grasping a lot of these concepts, is you need to be very up to date with the content and practice regularly. This is not a course you can start a week or two before the exam. You need to, at least if you are not very uh, if physics does not happen easily for you, um, be up to date. One of the practical advices is if it helps you make formula sheets, it might help you in revision. It did help me. Um, and the thing is, keep practicing. That is the only thing that will help you get through the course. Especially if you, and as Govind mentioned, some of the mathematical tools that you learn in this course will actually be very important later on, even if you choose to do biology.
I think we will take questions now. If there are any, just put them in the chat box.
A physics person might be more what better to answer this, but like R Shankar and Sakurai, from what I know, are like too advanced for this course. And no, the whole of Griffiths is not covered. I think about uh, even chapters that are done are not done fully. But I think it's within the first six chapters, like up to the time independent Schrodinger equation. It doesn't go into like Hermitian, not Hermitian, Hilbert spaces and anything further than that. It starts with the hydrogen atom.
So if I remember correctly, we for pre-midsem we had Mukhi, and Mukhi gave his own notes, which was mostly just the math that you require and very basic of the quantum mechanics. Second half we had Orko, and he taught from Griffiths. It was chapter 1, 2, and some parts of chapter 4, like finite quantum well, and hydrogen atom. We skipped chapter 3, which was the formalization and Hilbert spaces. But if you're interested, you can go ahead and read it. You won't require it for this course. And Ashram and Sakurai, at least for this introductory course, you won't require those books. But again, you're free to read them.
If we are done with questions, if there are no other questions, we will start out with the electives. The first one is Introduction to Biological Systems, and our speakers are Arjo, Anshita, Govind, and Shomajyoti. I will.
Hello, I'm here again. Um, right, so I'll talk about Arnab's part, and then Anshita, I think, will talk about Colin's part, and then Govind, Arjun, they can weigh in. Um, Yeah, so as Govind has told me to clarify at the very outset, this is not a systems biology course. This is not really systems biology or what you mean in the classical sense by systems biology. What this course will instead do is introduce you to different kinds of biological systems in various contexts of organization, complexity, regulation, etc. Okay, so what Arnav will do, he'll take you different design principles of living systems. And what I mean by this is he'll introduce you to how from simple individual units, how these interact together to form complex living systems. He'll introduce you to things like transcription networks, gene regulation, operons, signal transduction pathways, cascades of proteins, and all of those stuff. This will be mostly the pre-midsem stuff. Post-midsem, Arnob will talk more about stem cells, regeneration, programmed cell death. He'll talk a bit about developmental biology in the context of patterning, in the context of he'll talk about some very fundamental models that we use in developmental biology. Um, Towards the end of the course, his part at least, he'll talk about the logic of the immune system. He'll talk about the different kinds of design principles again that are there in immunity. But again, um, the thing to remember with this course is there is not really a lot of depth when it comes to the content. Most of the content is very surface level, and it is meant to be so. This is really an introduction into different kinds of avenues that are there in terms of biology and the different kinds of fields which you can go into in biology. Arnob, so I'll try to be objective, but my opinions here will be skewed because Arnob is personally one of my favorite instructors and faculty at all of IISER. I think Arnob's classes are amazing. I did not skip a single one of them. He does an excellent job of explaining what he wants to. He's extremely, extremely good if you go and ask him doubts or if you send him an email and want to talk about the course. So yeah, if you're someone who's interested in that, do like take full advantage of that. He's very easy to approach and very easy to talk to. Um, as for studying the course, I would suggest attend Arnob's classes, and if you are attending, make notes in Arnob's classes. It's very important that you make regular notes in his classes. Otherwise, you will have problem later on when you're revising for the exams because the slides are not very detailed. The slides will mostly contain some of the topics that he's teaching in class, but you'll definitely need some more context in addition to the slides when you're studying. And this is especially also because the exam for Arnob's part will be MCQ, and the MCQs will be confusing, at least some of them. There will be multiple option correct MCQs, and they will be confusing. So it will serve you good to attend the classes, take notes, and when you're revising, to go back and refer to those notes so that you're very clear about the concepts that he has taught in class. Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to add that if you're unable to understand his slides, you could refer to Wallpit for Dev Bio, for Cellular Bio, Albert's, the books mentioned in the course contents page. And Alan is a really good book, so for transcription networks, regulation, and all sorts of things, you can refer to those. So just in case you cannot understand his slides solely from the lectures. But like Shamajyoti mentioned, he is a very good instructor, so I won't come to that. But if you uh, were unable to attend the lecture too, so that would help. I'll talk about Colin's part. So, what he does is he introduces theoretical modeling of biological systems. So, after Arnav introduces you to transcription networks, Collins will talk about their properties, how you represent them mathematically, and the dynamics of the regulation. So, you will discuss network motifs and describe them mathematically. I'll network motifs like simple regulation, negative auto regulation, you'll weigh their pros and cons and see what's useful for a cell and what actually happens. Then after midsems, once Arnav has introduced topics like DevBio, patterning, and regeneration, Collins will discuss optimality in biological circuits. Optimality as a function of the environment of the organism, how fitness is affected by changes in the environment, the costs and benefits of regulation, and later he'll also go over pattern formation and how we represent it mathematically and during reaction diffusion equations. He doesn't go in too much detail, but it does give you a brief introduction so you can, study them on your own. Uh, as for his lectures, sometimes they may not seem so as organized as, say, Ornam's would be, but if you pay attention in class and then read up later, you will be able to follow. He will derive some things in class that you would have to take note of. He will not send any reading material or slides. You can refer to Uri Allen for some of his lectures and perhaps Strogatz when he goes into nonlinear dynamics and stuff. Uh, Again, his discussions will not be mathematically intense, but they would require some basic understanding of functions and differentiation. So keep that in mind. Assessment would be fairly simple. He would ask what he has taught in class, so pay attention or make friends with someone who takes notes. So yeah, that's it. Others can take over. They have something to.
Yeah, I have a strong opinion on this, and as Shomyoti told, this is not a systems biology course. System biology is known colloquially in research This is not that. This is ideally should be an introduction to bio 2. But if you are going into this expecting that you might like be doing a lot of like mathematical modeling of biosystems, close to none of that happens because Collins part is very small to begin with. Most of it is like 80% or now 20% Collins, and even the part that Collins does, he is a pretty slow teacher. He doesn't cover much in a single class, and he didn't even finish the syllabus that was assigned to him for us. Um, if you are interested in that sort of stuff, if you are interested in mathematical modeling of like gene regulated networks or things like that, Yuri Allen is a great book. I don't think you like, and it's a very readable book. You don't need like an instructor to take you through it. Um, it should be available online. You can download PDF, but you can go to that book on your own if you're interested in that because this course will not do that. Um, so yeah. Um, Also, the assessment for Collins part, it'll like more than likely be like a question from like the back of your Allen. So just look at that if you're like looking to score. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to get that through. I am working in a systems bio lab right now, and like this is not systems bio. So there's a reason the course is called biology, intro to biology systems, and not systems biology. So if you're a math person, I mean, or like a non-bio person looking to thinking about taking this course because you're expecting that you will do some math modeling here, I would suggest not taking it. It is a very good course. I'm not going to tell that it isn't, but it is not a systems bio course.
Yeah, I think that sort of covers. All I want to add is for some stuff, make sure you go through PYQs because, quite frankly, he does not have any new questions to give because at least the content he teaches does not have anything new that he can make a question out of. So make sure you go through the PYQs and you'll be pretty much set for Collins part. Um, okay, maybe, I don't know, Ruksa, is it okay if I take a couple of minutes to address some of the general questions that have come in through the Google form during this section because we're talking about electives?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, and of course, others please feel free to weigh in. I'll just mostly talk about the biology, chemistry specific questions. Yeah, more upcoming courses about biology and chemistry. Someone asked. I don't think this is the platform to discuss that. Um, Shameless plug-in, but do attend Mimamsa sessions if you actually want first-hand information, the insight, etc. about the courses and professors at IISER, or just approach a senior at any other time. But this is not the platform maybe to discuss further courses. But if you want information, you can reach out to any of us and we'll be glad to help you. Right. If you, and someone asked if how hard would it be for someone who did not take bio in plus two to receive a major or minor in bio. I don't think it will be hard. But then I, of course, have a bias. I'm from a biological background. What I will say is you will have to, despite what people say, some of the courses do require you to memorize a fair bit of information. So if you're okay with that, um, there won't be many issues. As such, I think biology is one of those disciplines that is really easy to pick up, and you'll do fine even if you do not have a background of biology. To give you some context, I've worked in two labs where the PIs themselves were not from biological backgrounds. They were physicists who studied physics up until their masters and then switched to neuroscience, and they're doing very extensive physiological, biological work right now. So it's it's not it shouldn't be very difficult for you to major in biology or minor in biology, even if you did not have biology in your plus two. Again,
Course
see.
structure wise, like bio is the easiest major to get. It has no like a rigid mandatory course or something in that aspect.
Yeah, right. CV winter schools internships again not the right platform to ask this. We maybe science club can have some other stuff where we can talk about this, or again just approach seniors, talk to them. Uh, yeah, that should work out for that. Yeah, if you're a biology major, definitely take systems bio. If you're thinking of majoring, while the courses you take in your third semester does not influence your ability to, it does not count towards your major, but systems bio, I would say, is very fundamental to any. So you will find it very useful when you, if you take up physiology in the fourth semester, because some of the introductory immunology part that Arnob will talk about will also be something that later Satyajit talks about in his course. Um, ChemLab, I'll talk about next when we come to it. Um, yeah, I think that pretty much answers the questions that Google said.
I think we are open to more questions now. If there are no questions, we will proceed with the next course. It is General Chemistry Practicals 2, and our speakers are Arjob Harini and Shomajati. I will hand it over to them.
Arjun is not here, so I'll just put forward the points that Arjun has sent me, and then maybe Harini can continue. So what he said was, this is if you're planning on doing a chemistry major, and if you're planning on working, or if you're planning on working in a chemistry lab, do take this course. This will introduce you to some of the very basic techniques and methods that you are supposed to know as a chemist. These are very fundamental things that you need to know uh, if you plan to work in a chemistry lab. Um, in regards of the course is not at all difficult. It is very easy. It is structured very similar to your uh, general organic chemistry lab that you guys had in the second semester, I think. Um, it's just that some of the techniques that you learn here in your third semester will be slightly more advanced.
Okay, if there are no questions, we will go and do the. We will proceed with the next course, which is landscapes and their evolution. And our speakers are Raj and Anshita. I will hand it over to them.
Hello again. There seem to be a lot of misconceptions around this course, so I'll start off by addressing those. Firstly, yes, you will have to do a group project for this course, and it will be a few presentations. I think 3 or 4 presentations throughout the semester. Basically, what the project is, Orgo just asks you to pick up any random landscape, anything you find cool on Google Earth, and just study it and think about it, model it in a few simple equations. I'll come back to the project later. So, firstly, yes, you will have to do a project. Secondly, the a lot of people have been saying that the course is too tough and the exams are like very hard. Uh, exam just fine, but the only thing about the exams is you can't really study for them. Argo just pulls out questions out of his pocket and like very unpredictable. But the exams will make you think. They will be they will involve a lot of critical thinking. They'll be very mimamsa-esque. Don't worry about them a lot. Everybody will do as bad as you do in those exams and like relative grading. So yeah. And there won't be any quizzes for this course because you are already doing the presentations. So don't worry about like it being too time consuming or anything. And what else? Yeah, he takes you to a field trip to Panchvati. Very fun part of the course. A random weekend morning, he'll say, "Come on, let's go." And yeah, you go to Panchvati, you explore a rocks. That's super fun. Coming to the course, well, it is basically what the course contents read. But what the course will actually really teach you is how to look at the landscapes around you and model them using really simple equations, really simple high school physics equations to
Raj, I think I can't hear you. Can other people hear him?
No, I think we lost him.
By the time Raj comes, Anshita, do you want to continue?
Yeah, sure. So, like
Yeah.
Raj was saying, you learn how to model the landscapes around you with very simple fundamental equations. A lot of questions being asked about it being difficult, and if you were interested in solid earth, would it be useful to you? As someone who was also very interested in the solid earth course, uh, I enjoyed solid earth, and so I decided to take landscapes. ECS courses have been nice for me so far, but I would have to say I kind of regretted it because these two courses provide you with a very, very different experience. Like while Datta expects you to follow what he's doing in class and think on your own, Orgo would want you to participate and think along with the class, like as he is teaching. So his teaching would mostly involve discussions. He would go through some derivations or make you go through them. Of course, he asks people to derive things first, and then, we'll discuss them in more detail. But depending on your interest in geomorphology, it can become difficult to keep up with everything he covers. And like Raj mentioned, you can't prepare for the exam. He'll just ask whatever, and you have to come up with a solution there. So again, it's not a difficult course per se, but it will require a lot of your time and attention. You will have to attend classes regularly, participate in the discussions. The group project may take a lot of your time depending on how much enthusiastic you are about it. Uh, and also, what makes it difficult to score well in this course is that very few people sign up for it. So only a handful of people are going to get A's and A pluses. So yeah. But if you're enthusiastic about geomorphology or simply want to learn, it's a great course. Orgo is a very good instructor. Uh, so he's very approachable, and he will not judge you no matter how trivial your questions are, or you know, if you are willing to learn, he will give you as much time as he can. So again, if you're interested in geomorphology or geophysics in general, go ahead, but you will have to put in some of your own effort. He will expect that, and you will enjoy it if you want to. So again, most questions in the Google form were about the difficulty of the course. It's not a difficult course, but it will require your attention. You will have to think. You can't just follow what the instructor is doing and pass an exam. You will have to think on your own, and the project would require some of your time. So be mindful of that while choosing. Right, so as Raj mentioned, the project would require you to pick a landscape. Like in our batch, people picked up sand dunes, there were some hills. A group talked about the Himalayas and how they're rising. Then there was riverbeds, river channels, and then sea channels. Okay, I don't remember all the details. It has been quite some time, but you have to pick up a landscape. You can look through Google Maps, you can use QGIS, and you have to describe those landforms in terms of simple equations. You have to study how they came to be and what their future dynamics could be. So it would involve 3 to 4 presentations throughout the semester, and you will be graded based on that.
We will proceed with the next elective, and if we gets back, we can come back to this one. Introduction to Prose is being offered after a really long time this year, and I know like none of us have had this course, so we can't really provide much insight on that. We will proceed to mathematical methods of physics. Mathematical methods for physics.
So Spallone wrote a whole book on this course, like the notes of this course. We can probably like send it to you, and you can like get an idea of what the course is going to be like.
Yeah, that kind of thing. We will proceed towards the next elective. It is mathematical methods for physics. Our speakers are Shoranno, Harini, and Bhagwat. I will hand it over to them.
Yeah, I think this course is very faculty dependent, what they intend to cover, because mathematical methods for physics are is quite subjective to the faculty. So the course content already looks way more rigorous than ours, so it'll probably be better. My personal experience with the course was not, I didn't find it that useful, but this looks good, and Joy, like Sharanya said, is a good instructor, as I've heard. So I think if you're a physics major, you should probably take this course.
I think I can chime in a bit because Vijay took the course for us. His, as everybody else mentioned already, he's an excellent instructor, and do make it a point to attend classes because his classes are very nice. You will understand a lot. Sharna, can you show the first part of the course content? So he will do series convergence and everything and linear algebra very rigorously. What I would say is he will send problem sets, and it is extremely important to solve those problem sets because as you move forward to other physics courses, you will realize, it has happened to me personally, that a bunch of those things you are solving will help you in navigating through a lot of mathematical manipulations that you will do later on. The linear algebra part is not really rigorous linear algebra that we do in a math course, but it again will help you understand a bunch of quantum mechanics and quantum physics stuff that you will be introduced to later on, not necessarily in this quantum physics course if you are doing a physics major. And his exams are tedious in the sense that they are they are easy if you have solved his problem sets. He again, he is an excellent instructor. Please attend classes. You will understand a bunch of things if you attend classes, and it really helps you understand any amount of physics that you will do later, especially if you're a physics major.
Expanding on that, just going by the course contents, this course could be pretty useful even if you end up working in theoretical bio. The Lee group stuff aside, um, I think literally everything else seems like very standard things that you use if you're working with like mathematical or computational or theoretical bio. So the might be a good choice to take this. I don't know about how the intro to proofs is going to be, but I feel like this would be pretty useful if you're if you already have a bias towards math bio.
Yeah, adding to that, Vijay is also a very nice prof to talk to. You can email him. He will probably take a little bit of time. At least that was my experience with him. But if you walk up to him and ask him something, he will be very generous, and that is a very nice quality if you are taking a course like this. In case you are getting intimidated by the content of the course and how much it spans. Just remember that it is not really a proof based course, it is mostly application. So you will understand to consider all these things as a toolbox to use in literally any system that you look at. I think that is it. But like, if even if you're not taking the course, do audit the course. If you want to get into, as Govind mentioned, math bio, or if you want to get into physics later, do audit the course. It's an extremely important course to do. Like, at least the content is extremely important content to go through. I think that's it. We will take questions now. Speakers, do you have anything else to add? Any general advice or otherwise?
There's a couple of questions. Sorry, one question about like what should you take apart from systems bio if you're a bio major. Um, that really I'd say it depends on what kind of bio you see yourself doing. Okay, to establish this first, the whatever you take in like this sem doesn't really matter because one, it doesn't count towards your major minor credit requirements, and also you can still if you found another field interesting, you can still pursue that from sem 4. But in my opinion, if you are, I can tell as someone working like computational bio, systems bio definitely, but I'd say go with math methods if you um, um, like so intro to proofs. It'll be again by name itself is it's going to be a proof based course. Math bio doesn't have a lot of proofs as such unless you go on like the very rigorous end of it. um, Math methods seem useful if you have an inclination towards computational or mathematical bio. Wet lab oriented people might have a different opinion. Maybe Shomajoti can tell that.
If there's nothing else, we will wrap this up. But I think it's pretty clear, but I will reiterate this again. You can approach any of us if you have any doubts or queries regarding coursework or in anything in general, as people have mentioned before. And thank you for joining this session. It was lovely having this conversation, and we will see you next time in next Know Your courses after we are done with this semester, hopefully. Okay, chalo. Bye bye.